Hello everyone and welcome back to round 11 of season 5 of our F124 Mercedes driver career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here at the Temple of Speed for the Italian Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a few days ago from Belgium, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. So far, it's safe to say the last few rounds have been a little bit up and down for us in the campaign, but it seems to be the same story for everybody, unless your name is Lando Norris. Our fellow Brit has won 4 races in a row to leapfrog himself from kind of in the middle of no man's land in the championship to top spot after we left the Ardennes last weekend. There's just 7 points in it though between both McLarens and myself, so it is still anybody's game in towards the second half of the campaign. With just 6 rounds to go of the season, yeah, it really could go any direction there. Even Max Verstappen and Fernando Alonso aren't a million miles away either, as the second Aston Martin and Red Bull cars battling it out just behind as well. Hamilton, he's got 27 points to his name. He's now behind Esteban Ocon in the Drivers' World Championship for Alpine, which is a little bit worrying. But I'm just pretty much solely focused now on our own championship hopes as well. We need to desperately try and string some good races together. We've got a couple of good tracks coming up though, so I'm hoping things can slowly start to shift our way once again. But that McLaren car is really, really fast. Of course, if you're not already, please do consider getting yourself subscribed. We're trying to get as close as we can to 140,000 subs by the end of the year. I think we're going to come up just a little bit short. But hopefully, yeah, we can still be there, ready to try and hit it early on in 2025. But of course, yeah, Monza, we've not had much luck around this circuit inside this game. That was normally, though, because I was driving for Ferrari. We won the other Italian Grand Prix this year, so hopefully we can do the same again today.
For over a century, the Temple of Speed has all come down to moments like this. Driver versus the stopwatch to set the grid for the Grand Prix. It is qualifying at Monza.
Well, I'll be honest, I think this is going to be a circuit where we really, really struggle, especially in terms of one-lap pace. Just because this car is not that great in terms of the top end as well. So yeah, this is going to be a bit of a trial by fire. I'm expecting Williams to obviously put on a show as well. A bit further down the order, they see Ollie Behrman in that car immediately trying to take advantage of its efficiency in a straight line. But for us, yeah, this is probably going to be kind of one of the defining weekends of the year. It feels like every weekend in such a short season is kind of season defining. But yeah, this one, I feel like we are just going to have to try and maximise the result as best as we can. But how often have we had to do that this year? Luckily for us, the car does sit very, very nicely, obviously through the corners, so we can kind of try and take that strength where possible. But yeah, down the straights we just seem to be losing out a little bit to everybody else there. As you just see George Russell in that McLaren car. I mean, how many times have we seen McLaren take pole position in recent race weekends? They have absolutely chuck our car down through Ascari there, try to get the power down on the exit. Just one more corner to go, and we're still looking pretty close. I keep qualifying P3 or P4 in this series, so I'd love for a bit of a shake-up here today as we chuck it into that final corner. Really just try and find the grip there. Use the battery on the exit. I think it's going to be P3 once again, annoyingly. It is P3 again. Well, George Russell back-to-back pole positions then last weekend in Belgium and here in Monza. But Oscar Piastri gives Ferrari something to smile about on what has been a very, very rough year so far. We will line up third ahead of Max Verstappen there. So 4 cars from 4 different teams making up your top 4. Enzo Fittipaldi in 5th ahead of Ollie Behrman, who qualifies in P6 there ahead of both Aston Martins. World Championship leader Lando Norris all the way down in 10th. So Max Verstappen and Alonso will be looking at this opportunity there. Hamilton down in P14. Sergio Perez down in P17 is quite funny. But for us, I guess we can't complain too much.
Monza, the oldest circuit on the calendar, which hosted its first race all the way back in 1922. Today we look forward to the Italian Grand Prix. The Rettifilo, Ascari, Curva Grande, the Parabolica. Names to get you excited. This is Monza, where we are full throttle for 80% of the lap. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid we have: Firestarter, Verstappen, Fittipaldi, Behrman, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Albon, Norris, Gasly, Tsunoda, Sainz, Hamilton, Ocon, Ricciardo, Perez, Iwasa, Vesti, and Zhou Guanyu. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Speed's key here today, so we're going to need a low downforce setup, which of course means that DRS won't be as effective, but hopefully we're going to be so quick we won't even need it.
Well, as always, Mark likes to give us that setup information after qualifying and everything else is done, so we can't change the setup at all as we head into the GP. But lining up then in P3 on the grid, I am admittedly, a little bit nervous here. So many races recently just haven't quite gone our way, but we need this one. We need this to work for us. George Russell is 1 point ahead of me in the championship. Verstappen and Alonso aren't far behind, but both myself and our fellow Brit will be looking to take points out of Lando Norris as well there. So there might be a little bit of teamwork throughout today's running. It's 5 red lights though here on the grid. And it's a mighty long pole, but it is going to be lights out and away we go there. And Oscar Piastri has absolutely nailed the start. He will take P1 down in towards turn 1. We will try and cover off from Enzo Fittipaldi in towards that first corner there, but I also don't really want to lose the spot to Verstappen as well there. So we'll fling it around his outside through those first couple of corners there. So we will hang on to P3 then. Looks like most of the drivers a bit further down have stayed exactly where they started. Lance Stroll has made some gains past Fittipaldi as well there. But yeah, big move by Oscar Piastri to get that Ferrari into P1. And I'm sure, yeah, the hometown crowd will be loving that. Of course, Charles Leclerc won this race a couple of seasons ago for the Maranello-based squad. But yeah, we never quite were able to. Just so much bad luck around the Temple of Speed for ourselves, at least with Ferrari. Obviously, yeah, we've already won the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix this year, so like I said, I'd love to go for the double in US Grand Prix as well. Then you can already see Russell trying to push Oscar along. Like I said, we need to try and stay in the DRS of these two very, very early on in the day. I mean, we've had so many high-speed circuits recently, but I think, yeah, you're probably all bored of listening to me talking about DRS strategy and things like that. Obviously, yeah, Spa, Silverstone, even you could make the argument of Austria and Barcelona as well. They're quite DRS-dependent circuits in F1 24. Oh, Russell there just getting a bit of a squeeze down in towards turn 1. We're getting sent by Max Verstappen there, but again, just able to hang it around the outside through the first part. And we'll watch these two fight for P1. It's again Verstappen trying to get the traction. We don't seem to have much oomph off of the corners today for whatever reason. Here goes Russell again then, this time round to the outside of Oscar Piastri in towards the Ascari, and he will absolutely send it there to make the move back through and into the lead of the GP. I don't believe Russell has won a race since the season opener. He might have won one more earlier on in the campaign, but of course, yeah, it has been the other McLaren man that's absolutely been dominating races more recently. As again, Verstappen just trying to go for a half-hearted attempt to throw the car to the inside. So we will just try and cover him off into the braking zones there as Russell new fastest lap. Battery management is really, really critical here, but we just need to get a little bit closer to our top two. As you can see, Oscar Piastri there trying to go around the outside the long way through 1. We'll give him the shorter run through turn 2 there, but he has to give Russell the space. We all stay where we were. Let's actually see what this car's capable of in a straight line. We've got the double slipstream from Piastri and George Russell. There goes 220 miles an hour, almost 230 by the time we get into turn 1. But, you know, unlike the Ferrari or the Haas car that we've driven before, definitely feels like the Mercedes has got less to give right at that top end. It's not as bad as F1 23. Anybody that's been around the channel for a longer will obviously remember on that year's game that Mercedes was like 10 miles an hour slower than any other car. But yeah, around the outside of Russell will go though. A bit of P2 then of this race as Russell not only gets jumped by me, but also by Verstappen. And immediately then, George Russell, Max Verstappen, Lance Stroll all tripping over each other. So Oscar Piastri and I have got an opportunity just to try and break free over these next couple of laps, that would be really, really ideal for us. We can just build up a bit of a buffer. Of course, we've seen it with other drivers before. Obviously, Lando and Lance Stroll at Silverstone, probably the most recent example. But if we can just work with the Australian...
We don't want to let this hold us up too long, so do your best to get past and get on with the race.
Of course, I'm talking about teamwork here with Oscar, and the team are like, nope, get past him. We don't want to have anything to do with him. But it finally feels like something might be falling our way this season after so many bad luck in races in recent times. Can we try and get a run on Oscar back down in towards turn 1? Don't really want to fight him wheel to wheel too much. We have got nothing to gain by fighting Oscar Piastri early on this afternoon. Let's just work together. Well, this is what works so well for the likes of Piastri and Lance Stroll. Meanwhile, Verstappen and Russell are just fighting with each other. Obviously, because they're in the World Championship hunt, these guys can try to just take advantage wherever possible. And obviously just try to capitalise. They know they've got less to lose, because let's be fair, you know, for an Oscar Piastri or someone like that, Ferrari aren't interested whether he comes 7th or 8th in the championship. They just want you to try and win the Italian Grand Prix. And for Lance Stroll, doesn't matter what he does, his dad will still keep him on the payroll there. So Russell and Verstappen now falling even further away. We just got to not run into the back of Oscar. Well, looking at the gap set at the moment, Oscar Piastri is not the fastest car in that Ferrari. Lance Stroll is taking a little bit of time out of us, so is George Russell, who's taken about a second out of that gap already. So I think we need to try and see if we can drag Oscar along for a couple of laps here as we get towards the pit stop window. It has been nice just to, you know, just basically sit behind him and just save up some battery there, but we will fly back through in towards turn 1.
Okay, good work. Great pass.
So let's just see if we can try and push on a little bit more there. Either get him out of the range or just try to drag him along. I mean, this is the problem we've got. That Ferrari is definitely still quicker in a straight line. Obviously, we enjoyed all of that Italian horsepower through the first 4 seasons of this career mode. We've kind of done the opposite of Lewis Hamilton. Spent all of our time with Ferrari power, and now have suddenly gone away from it there. But I mean, when you look at the top 5, it's pretty much as perfect as we could hope for. None of our big title rivals, apart from Verstappen, are there, and we're ahead of the Dutchman anyway. I think we just got to work out in terms of what we're going to do for pit stops. But I would like to try and break free from Piastri, because I think if we were able to, we have got more pace around the lap. Well, my plan then is to do whatever Oscar Piastri doesn't do at the end of lap 12. If he pits, we'll stay. If he stays out, we will go for a slightly early pit stop here and try to undercut the Ferrari man. What is he going to do at that final corner? Oscar Piastri's going to stay out there, so we are going to peel in. And once more, they're going to be one of the first cars into the pit lane. It's not through bad tyre wear or anything like that. If anything, this car's pretty good on its tyres. It is just that strategy element of trying to do something different.
Okay, mate, that's it. Go, go, go. Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that.
Yeah, Gasly, Esteban Ocon also joining me in the pit lane, but we've also got a full charge of battery, so hopefully we're going to be able to try and utilise that as well.
No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
This is effectively going to be a qualifying lap on pit exit here, but we've got 6 seconds up to Zhou and Vesti.
Yellow flag.
Oh no, we've got yellows. That's the other Ferrari, I think a Fittipaldi gone. I mean, that could have been a red flag there, as what on earth is Enzo doing? Come on, man, get on with it.
Green flag.
That was very, very scary. Yeah, I mean, that could have been Crashgate 2.0 attempted by Ferrari there. Oscar Piastri, a red flag would have worked perfectly for him and absolutely ruined not only our race, but probably also our championship hopes here. Luckily, that hasn't happened. And are we seeing other cars into the pit? Surely we are. I believe, yeah, Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri is in the pit lane then, so will we have got the jump on the Ferrari here? We were right on his gearbox when we made the call. There is Oscar. So we will be out ahead of him, which is really good. But obviously, he's got to try and warm up those tyres as well, so we need to keep pushing on this outlap there. Plenty of curve down at turn 1. What's the gap going to be? 1.1 seconds there, but the AI's traction is always good out of those first couple of corners. These are critical moments in this GP. So there we go then, the last of the cars into the pits. So we are going to reclaim the lead then of this Grand Prix. And Stroll there will be out not too far behind as Oscar Piastri, you can see again, just using that Ferrari's power, will get that car back within the 1 second zone. But through the corners, we are very, very fast right now. So if we can just keep him out of the range, I think we can just start to build the gap. Oh, that's not good. Oscar Piastri, new fast lap of the day. First drive to dip under the 1 minute 20 mark. And yeah, that Ferrari is still, you know, it's just got the raw horsepower there as Verstappen goes even faster, still in a 19.9. I mean, could we try and let Oscar by and then use a load of DRS and ERS one lap? Oh, that's gutting. Ollie Behrman is having such a good weekend here as here comes Piastri to the inside. Oh, we really sent it a bit too late on the brakes there, but we got it stopped. I mean, how on earth is Oscar Piastri getting a run here on the huge amount of speed carried down in towards that final corner? So now I'm going to try and push for fastest lap. We've basically got a full charged battery to make our way out of the final turn. So let's see what we can do then against Oscar once more. Use that DRS out of the final corner. Oscar will go defensive on me. Oh, he actually gives me a bit more of a squeeze than I was expecting. On the anchors just before the 100-metre board there, as that's the time we've got to chase. A 19.7 by Max Verstappen. Nice and tidy on the throttle out. Turn 1, you want to use plenty of battery again as you make your way through Curva Grande there. Try to avoid the bumps right down on the inside. And then again, you're looking for the 100-metre board there. Attack the curve nicely through the first part. Try to avoid it through the second. And then get really nice and easy on the traction on the exit there. Down just 1 gear through the first Lesmo. You're absolutely hanging onto the car through there. And the 5th gear through the second one. And then again, use that ERS off of the corner to carry the speed down the hill in towards the Ascari chicane. Probably the toughest corner of this lap. Braking just at the 100-metre board there. Oh, we actually nicked the grass on the way in. That's going to unsettle the curbs, the car slightly over the curbing. And very, very wide on the exit as well. And now just 1 more corner to go. If we can do like a 19.5, that might be enough there. Chuck it in, 5th gear through the apex there. Try and carry the speed off the exit. We haven't got Oscar Piastri out of the range, but it is going to be a 1:19.1. That will hopefully be enough. Into the final third then in this race. Oh, we've got yellows out. We've got someone struggling a bit further behind. I think that is again a Kick Sauber car breaking down. This time it's so brand new. So yeah, we've seen plenty of issues for them this year. It's not just that, you know, it's not just the actual pace of that car either that is really, really costing them.
ERS is offline. We're currently looking into the problem.
Well, we've had both an ERS and a DRS failure in one go there, so that's not exactly ideal.
Okay, mate.
But I thought that was a mechanical.
We've got to have consistency. Come on, we can do better than this.
I mean, technically that is a mechanical failure, but yeah, without DRS, we're not going to be able to do much against Oscar Piastri. We've just got to try and stick with him. DRS or no DRS, when Oscar Piastri's out to save some battery, actually. Oh, I wanted to go for the move, but it's just not going to happen, is it? I just have not quite got the speed back down to turn 1.
But we need to look after the tyres. We won't be making another pit stop.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Yeah, we've got, what, 7 laps to go of this race. We've just got to hope that that DRS comes back online before the end. We only need 1 lap, and I'm sure we could get the run on Oscar. Well, I'm still waiting to see when that DRS is going to come back online towards the end of this race, but honestly, this car is starting just to fall apart a little bit. DRS not working, ERS having issues. The team have warned me about the turbocharger as well, so it is all going wrong towards the end here, yet still, we are ahead of all of our championship rivals, and we are battling it out for the victory. Can we get a run on Oscar? Back down in towards turn 1. We're going to try to look to the outside. Brake late on the anchors there. Around the outside we'll go. And back into the lead once more then. With just 4 laps to go. Please, team, get that DRS working. I mean, there's no point trying to defend, is there? Oscar Piastri straight back down the inside. May as well just try and make sure that he doesn't have the DRS. It was all banging wheels through that final corner. I think Oscar just assumed I was going to back out of that one a little bit earlier than I did in the end, and luckily he won't have the DRS. Oh no, yes he does. How on earth did he end up with the DRS there? I swear he was ahead. at the detection point, but 3 laps to go. There are still no signs from the team that we're going to get that system back online. So we'll have to wait for the very last lap and then try and snoop or move past him. Well, just 1 lap to go then. Our Ferrari finally back inside F124. It's just a track with very low downforce, and they have still got a very efficient power unit. Oscar Piastri fighting for the win. Enzo Fittipaldi, his teammate, currently down in last place, so it has not been the ideal day for the Brazilian in his first Italian Grand Prix in red, but we need to go for it. And you can just see Oscar Piastri starting to struggle back down in towards turn 1. Verstappen and Russell, looks like they have disputed P4 once and for all, and it seems to be Verstappen that has got to win out in that fight there. But Oscar Piastri forcing the nose around the outside through the exit of turn 1 there. Through Curva Grande, we're going to go side by side with the Ferrari. We need to be careful. I know that already, Mark. We've had that throughout the last 5 laps. We're side by side for the win, man. What on earth you're waffling on about there, as Oscar Piastri hasn't got enough to defend up at the top of the hill, but he knows if he can just get the DRS run, there might not be a lot we can do in towards Ascari here. We will have to try and defend from him as best as we can. We do get a pretty good run off of the corner, but I'm also worried about the exit of Ascari, because that has been where Oscar as well is very, very strong here. He's gaining. He has a look down the inside, but it is not quite enough there. And I tell you what, as we make our way in towards the final couple of corners, we've had a couple of close finishes with Oscar before. Today, it has just been an intense battle all afternoon. Luck has not been on our side in recent times inside this series, but as we make our way out the final corner, we're going to go back-to-back here in Italy this year. It is P1.
Yes, guys, yes! Come on, boys! Ah, fantastic drive. That's just fantastic. Amazing. You deserve that race win. Well done, mate.
Here we are then, it's a thoroughly deserved win here in Italy after another excellent Grand Prix.
And as we get closer to the end of this year's championship, every race that you put together well now really sets you up for crossing the finish line in the championship in the best possible position. And it's moments like this right now that really matter.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everyone played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
Well, just our 3rd race victory of the year. It has been such a topsy-turvy campaign, but boy oh boy, it is finally nice to break that Monza curse that we've had inside F124. Oscar Piastri comes through for P2 ahead of Lance Stroll, who might well have had one of the quietest races we've ever seen inside this game. Verstappen beats out both McLarens in the end, with Gasly, Albon, Alonso and Yuki Tsunoda rounding out your top 10 there. We've just seen once again the wheels on Alonso's championship campaign wagon start to fall off as we head into the flyaway there. Hamilton down in P14 in the end is a very disappointing result. Zhou Guanyu, the only driver who failed to see the checkered flag. But what does that do to our championship? Well, it means we reclaim the top spot there, 11 points clear of Lando, 15 points clear of George Russell. As you can see, Alonso now 47 back. So he's going to need a really, really good run of races between now and the end of the season there. Max Verstappen still with an outside shot, but I think it is going to be a fight between the Brits, between myself, Norris, and George Russell. Constructors-wise, we continue to make ground up on Ferrari and Aston Martin as well there, but I think we can all accept that it's probably going to be McLaren winning the Constructors' Championship this year. Ferrari, with that big result, jumped the 100-point barrier. But how fitting is it that we deny Ferrari the win here at the Temple of Speed after they denied us of it on a couple occasions in the past as well? That one feels really good, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready in Singapore.